Alex just said he's nervous.
I don't know why. Welcome. Hi, friends. This is our podcast, our sit-down conversation about housing news, running a small business. What else? I feel like we need a third descriptor in there.
Yeah, just like what we're seeing in Seattle real estate today.
Yeah, very
on a roughly weekly basis.
We're in Capitol Hill. We took the new Link light rail extension line today, which is very exciting.
Yeah, we have this little condo listing here in Capitol Hill, so we thought it was the perfect opportunity to test our light rail, which goes right into our neighborhood.
So we walked to the station. That took about, we timed it, 19 minutes.
19 minutes, which, we're in the suburbs. It's like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and then we took it all the way from Shoreline to Capitol Hill and then walked to this condo. So it's very exciting. It's transforming our neighborhood, or at least I think it will be. It's going to change the suburbs quite a bit.
But overall, I just thought it was so cool that we were taking the light rail from Shoreline. It goes all the way up to Linwood at like 10 a.m. It was full, so it was a little bit of a thrill. But we made it. We're here in our Capitol Hill condo listing. It's a 1-bedroom in a phenomenal location, as you can tell by the fact that we walked from the light rail.
Yeah, I'll link the listing down below if you're interested. 365 for an incredible location.
So, what's going on in Seattle housing news?
Well, I found a couple interesting stories this week. There's a lawsuit going on about this rental property management software that's out. Basically, the lawsuit is it's claiming that there's a monopoly happening with this use of this software. All of the property management companies are using this software, and they're all like sharing proprietary information. And then AI is spitting out a rental price. They're saying that AI is kind of price fixing. Maybe it's not a conscious effort on the software developer's part, but just
more real estate price fixing lawsuits.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm kind of surprised by that because off the top of my head, I can think of like 3 or 4 different property management softwares. So, but I know there are like 1 or 2 that the really big property managers use. So
yeah, so we have a property management company, very small scale, and we just go in, we look at comps and kind of get a feel for the market and set a rate, and it's basically just our professional opinion. But these big management companies are, they're using the software that everybody else is using. So there's a lot of data. There's a huge data set that the AI can draw upon in order to set these rents. Kind of a light week on actual housing news, but there's more housing industry news. If you don't know, this lawsuit that happened with the National Association of Realtors is all officially closed and paid out. Big money. There was a couple $1 billion awarded to the plaintiffs, and now one of those plaintiffs is starting this new software company. I think it's super interesting. They're trying to basically get rid of buyer's agents by doing a kind of like fee per service for home shoppers.
So what do you mean? Like, what would the services be?
So you can go on there and you say, I want to look at this house. And then a realtor, I guess, I don't know exactly how it works, but...
So it's like $200 to show the house.
Yeah, I think it was $99 to go show the house.
I hope it varies by market.
And then it was $299 to put together an offer.
So, a lot of issues jump into my mind with this, but what do you think about this, Alex?
Well, I think... I do think that realtors are overpaid.
Whoa.
I'm a realtor, and I see a lot of lazy realtors out there. There's people not really earning their commission. The vast majority of my colleagues are hardworking. They're very knowledgeable. They do right for their client. And all of these conversations about buyers agents, it's just kind of fundamentally misunderstanding the role of realtors, I think.
How so?
Well, so everyone's saying, oh, I found this house and I just need someone to open the door for me. And why should I pay a realtor so much money to do that? But it's been a long time now that I have not really found houses for clients.
Yeah.
Occasionally I do, but the information is out there. It's really easy to find houses and aggregate that data. My value comes more in negotiation, industry knowledge, just knowing how to be safe and
contractually safe.
Yeah. And
there's so many nuances in a real estate contract. And sure, some purchases and sales happen like relatively smoothly, but A lot of them don't. Everyone is different, and the knowledge is definitely like that contractual knowledge and the knowledge of, our area, the different neighborhoods.
I saw a lot of articles during the pandemic where people were putting in like 18 offers on houses and not being able to get anything. When for like a 2 or 3 year stretch, our average was, I think, 2 offers before a client got a house.
Even through the pandemic, yeah.
And, it was that knowledge in how to put together an offer and how the industry works and how, knowing where prices are going that made that possible. I'm working with an older client. She's in her 70s, and she told me a lot about buying a house in the 80s as we were house shopping. And this is before buyer's agents were a thing. If you didn't know, buyer's agents only came around in about the 90s when as a form of consumer protection.
Yeah. Which is crazy because during that time, 90s and before, you really did need a real estate agent to find the house. Like listings were in binders in real estate offices, and someone had to show you that. So when you say like you don't actually find houses for clients generally, we're not ashamed to say that. Like there's Zillow, it's all out there. That's not what our job is. I mean, yeah, we help, but
before buyer's agents were a thing, those agents only represented the seller. So like my client talked about how she kind of got screwed in her purchase, didn't really know what she was doing. They took on a lot of repairs that they didn't necessarily know about. And
that's still how it is in the UK, I think.
Yeah.
There's no buyer representation. You're just working with an attorney to broker the deal between the seller and the buyer. And, how attorneys are. Depends on the one you get. But they're not really there to represent the buyer. They're there to just kind of like see the logistics of the transaction through. That's the biggest thing that we're not really scared of this NAR lawsuit. And, if our commissions go down a little bit, that's fine. Everything should be negotiable, and that's the point of the lawsuit. I am nervous that some buyers are going to think that they don't need representation, and if that causes sellers to not pay buyers agents and just to move away from buyers agents, I think is just so detrimental to the industry.
Yeah.
And that honestly, that is what is starting to happen. I don't think it's going to go all the way to the opposite, to the way it used to be, where there were no buyers agents.
Yeah, so this is a bit of a stretch, but I like to compare this a little bit to, I watched a video about food delivery apps, Grubhub, Uber Eats, and, they came in hard to the industry, competing against restaurant delivery services. They undercut them, offered a really cheap, affordable option, basically killed the restaurant delivery service. And now they're jacking up prices and saying that it's the consumer's fault.
Yeah, so this startup that Alex was mentioning earlier with the flat fee system, they come in, say they do wipe out all the real estate agent businesses. Like you said, what's stopping them from jacking up their like middleman platform fees and that sort of thing? But all of that to say, buyers not having representation or good representation because their agents aren't getting paid enough, that's a bad thing.
Okay, so how's the market going? This is the 4th of September, so there's new MLS data that was released a couple days ago. I looked it up.
Tell us.
So the median price is starting to come down. We're approaching the end of summer. The weather's changing, school's starting up. We only decreased by about $30,000 to $915,000 in the city of Seattle.
Because more inventory is coming on the market, which keeps prices
more
at bay.
Inventory, there's less demand. People put their house hunt on hold for a while at this time of year as they get used to changing weather, new school schedules, all sorts of things.
But I don't know, I was just in the office yesterday and you kind of overhear different agents' conversations, and we know what we feel as well, and everyone's kind of sensing like, it's about to explode. It's about to get really busy. We're all kind of like waiting with anticipation to see if the Fed cuts rates, which could then affect mortgage rates.
Yeah, rates are already coming down a little bit, but they're expected to meet in a couple weeks, and they could drastically cut rates.
We were pleasantly surprised because we're kind of on the hunt for an investment property personally, and our personal rates that we get quoted are usually a little bit higher because we're self-employed, and then being an investment property on top of that, they'll be even higher. But when we first got approved, maybe a year ago, we were quoted at like 7.75, which is hard to make that work, especially for an investment property. And then we were pleasantly surprised recently. We refreshed the approval, and they could get us in for 6.625, which is a pretty big decrease, a point, a full percentage point. So again, and that's for an investment property. I'm not quoting what your 30-year fixed mortgage rate will be if you want to buy a primary residence today, but just to give you like a real example of how they're changing, and that's even before like the Fed has announced any official rate cuts on their end.
With prices coming down, this is always a little bit stressful for people who have just bought a house.
And when you say coming down, it's not like they're not like coming down.
Prices rarely
softening.
Yeah, prices rarely come down.
It's gonna, of course, do this a little bit.
The lesson over the years is that real estate is cyclical, and they'll come down a little bit in the fall, and then they're going to go back up in the spring, usually higher than they were the year before. We helped somebody buy a townhouse a couple months ago, and she keeps sending me these townhouses that are selling for less than the one that she bought. She's like, "Why didn't we buy this one? Why didn't we wait?" She's stressed about it, but I just have to keep reminding her that it's very normal. I usually tell people, I did tell her not to look at Zillow for like a year after buying a house because it can be painful.
Everyone does it. We did it.
And I keep telling her that prices are going to come right back up in the spring. So we have a number of transactions going on. This is kind of our like boots on the ground segment, what we're experiencing in the Seattle real estate market. So how are things going? How many transactions do we have going right now?
We're busy.
Yeah.
I mean, we have like 5 active, meaning like under contract or houses on the market, buyers and sellers right now, which is a lot for a single agent. And so I think that's part of why we are, along with our colleagues I mentioned in the office, sort of sensing that it's going to be a busy fall. 3 of those 5 are listings, so more coming on the market post Labor Day weekend. But we are seeing, like, for our buyers especially, like, houses are staying on the market longer. It's more work for us, which is A-okay, but, like, there's more time spent negotiating because it's not just coming in hot with the highest price. It's like, this is where we were talking about that experience becomes so important. It's the nuances of the offer. We can sometimes get homes under contract for less than list price. Depends on the situation still, but that knowledge and expertise is really coming in during this type of market. So we are busy. It feels good. And we're excited for the fall.
Yeah, it was interesting kind of pricing this condo. I went around before we hit the market and toured all of the other 1-bedroom condos within a couple block radius. And it was eye-opening. I mean, a lot of people don't put much effort into listing their 1-bedroom condo, I think because of the price point. And just to plug this one for a little bit, none of the other ones had a nice view. This is the only one that's staged, really.
Yeah, you do find at this price point in the 300s, a lot of agents don't bother staging homes, which is a shame.
Yeah, so we're hoping that we really hit the ground hard, that it'll help sell this.
Hit the ground hard. I want to hit the ground and run.
Hit the ground and a run.
Not hit it hard.
One of these listings is just a family that's moving out of Seattle because they're stressed about the cost of living. And it's something that we've felt quite a bit lately. I just feel like everyday life is expensive. Childcare, groceries, everything seems a lot way more expensive than it was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we are paying for childcare for the first time just on a part-time basis, and it's a lot of money. Like, it's a big part of our monthly budget for
How much do we spend?
Less than part-time. We're spending $1,000 a month for, 16 hours, and that's the going rate.
We think about how expensive it is to live in Seattle, and sometimes we're like, oh, maybe we should just move away. But everywhere that we come up with is just like, oh, we'd be bored there.
I can think of a lot of places where I'd be fine.
Like where? Where would you live that's cheaper than here that
Well, I mean,
would
that's the
be
thing. I think like I'd
joy to
maybe
live in.
move to be closer to family, but family all lives kind of on the West Coast, and the coasts are expensive, and those are kind of the place I'd want to be, somewhere on the West Coast for sure.
I think it's. I think I'm just trying to acknowledge that this is an expensive city, but
And that we have real life clients who this isn't the first time are moving away because of it. Like we're not naive to that.
And for us, I think it's worth it for the phase of life that we're in. It's a beautiful area.
There's higher earning potential here too, of course, with the tech industry. So, that's how we are where we are. But yeah, I don't think we really have a point to this conversation except to call it out. And yeah, we feel it too. And we're working with real clients who feel it every day.
Yeah.
It's not just like, woohoo, coming in with all my money and buying whatever I want. Like, there's a lot of money here in Seattle, but everybody feels it.
Yeah. I have a question for the audience. Maybe you could leave a comment. We've been kind of struggling with what to do with our vlogs. If you don't know, we have a vlog channel, and it's hard to keep 2 concurrent channels going at once. So we're experimenting with putting some on here. Let me know if you like that content here.
Yeah, we've gotten a little feedback from viewers already, which is really helpful. I think the reason we started a second channel is because we just legitimately like making videos. It helps us capture memories of our daughter. It's fun. It's Alex. Maybe newer viewers don't know. Prior to real estate, he has an MFA in art and sculpture, and so transitioning into a new career in real estate, the videos kind of became an artistic outlet, and he just has fun making them. So. But we know that so many people who watch this channel are here for Seattle content and real estate content. Maybe you're thinking about moving here. So we just kind of want to know, what do people want from here? And if we mixed in stuff that wasn't specifically Seattle and real estate, would you unsubscribe or something? But
it has come to a point where our audience really supports us and has helped us build a business, and this YouTube channel is super important to us. And
yeah, it is. To our previous point, we wouldn't be living here, without you guys supporting our career. So the little vlog channel that we started, I think it's just it's hard to start a new channel because we're not famous YouTubers, and so you put a lot of work into a video and then you post it for 62 people to watch, as opposed to this channel which has 4,000 or something almost. So anyways, let us know what you think. Would you want to see some personal vlogish non-real estate type content? Sometimes this would still be a Seattle real estate channel, but let us know.
So what fun things have we been doing in Seattle lately?
This is our final segment, fun in Seattle.
Yeah, fun in Seattle.
We went to West Seattle the other day to the farmer's market.
Yeah, we went to the farmer's market. We have a listing coming up in West Seattle, so we've been going over there and kind of exploring things.
Which we actually work with a lot of clients moving to West Seattle. We had lunch with some friends the other day who live in West Seattle, and the wife said that it's the best bang. We were asking, would you ever leave West Seattle for your next home? And she's like, I don't think so. It's the best bang for your buck. Which is probably true in terms of Seattle proper, and it's definitely a fun place to be.
Yeah,
it's just Seattle in general is super relaxed, I think, but it's an even more relaxed feeling over there.
Kind of beachy, laid back, community oriented.
We would definitely live there.
Yeah.
If we weren't already so rooted down where we are, it would probably be one of our top neighborhoods. I always say I love Greenwood, and then Alex's favorite neighborhood is probably somewhere in West Seattle.
Yeah. And then we went to the light rail opening party, which was super fun.
Yeah.
There were so many people.
Yeah, you mentioned that we have a friend that works for the city of Linwood, and he was saying they didn't know how many people to expect.
They said maybe it'll be 6,000, maybe it'll be 40,000.
So they opened 4 stations at one time, and there was party and food trucks and booths at each station. I think it was definitely closer to 40,000.
Oh, yeah. The trains were running late because it took so long for people to get on and off. It was so packed.
There was a moment on the Seattle light rail at the party where I was like, I might actually have to get off because I'm too claustrophobic with all these people. It wasn't moving. It was waiting for a while, and Alex and I weren't next to each other because there was too many people. And I just looked at him should we try to get off now? Because I just felt a little... we actually ended up leaving to go home and find food instead of eating at the food trucks because there were so many people. And I'm not complaining. I am really happy for Sound Transit and for all the cities along the route that I think it was a huge success. I think it was really well done. There's just nothing you can do when there's that much of an influx of people. So no complaints at all. It was really fun. It was really fun to see, like, to walk to our Shoreline station and see all those people and, you know, just like, oh, there's a lot of people in our community. Like, look at our little neighborhood. We're all here. But it was a great time.
Yeah, it was great. So if you're thinking about making a home in Seattle, send us a message and let's work together. Bye.